Hello and welcome back for another video on ARK Survival Ascended and to another mod spotlight video. Today we are checking out the new premium mod map Lost Protocol, which comes from J26 Arquitecto. The map will set you back a sum of $5 and can be played cross-platform. The file size of the map is only 1.64 gigabytes, which is pretty small for a mod map. And the map is 100% complete, which is a rarity these days, so I'm really looking forward to showcasing the map in all its glory, all the map features and all that good stuff to see if it is really worth the price tag. So let's get straight into it. Immerse yourself in Lost Protocol, a large-scale post-apocalyptic map where nature and ruin coexist in a fragile balance. Explore a vast variety of biomes from lush jungles to misty valleys and arid deserts, snow-capped mountains and alien zones covered in colossal roots, which leads us on perfectly to Introduction to Biomes. We'll begin our journey in the eastern section of the map. This is where you'll find a large jungle biome with great scenery, cliffs, lakes, waterfalls and valleys throughout, so there will be plenty of base spots available to survivors. Home to a variety of herbivores and carnivores alike that you can make friends with. The biome offers plenty of basic resources to cover all your building needs, and also rare resources with some rich metal spawns here and there. I did also come across a few unique discoveries, including a large abandoned bunker, which upon venturing inside a sleep-in for Solar Sucus lies. Who knows what experiments went ahead down here, but surely they were up to no good. I love coming across discoveries like this. Adding to this, I found a chest outside which appears to be some sort of loot crate, which rewarded me with some metal tools. Lovely jubbly. Also scaling the eastern coast and to the north lies a deep ocean. But as always with most ARK maps and especially mod maps, it does feel a little empty and there's not really much incentive to want to dive on down here. We now make our way into the northern section of the map, which will include multiple biomes. Venturing here will see you exploring more of a tropical themed jungle and widespread beaches, which is probably one of the prettier regions on the map. The area is filled with beautiful lakes, rivers, waterfalls, a lot of open areas, plateaus and high floating islands similar to Crystal Isles, all of which will make for some awesome base locations, that's for sure. Pairing this with a wide variety of fauna inhabiting the area, including Ragnarok's griffin, which was a lovely surprise to come across on my travels, as it's one of my favorite creatures in the game. Also, if you're a fan of treehouse builds, this could also be a good spot for you due to the multitude of redwood trees in the area. Speaking of pretty regions, also in the north is a large aberration themed biome, probably the brightest and most colourful take on an aberration zone I've ever seen. I personally prefer a more dark, mysterious and dangerous feel to aberration, but the biome as a whole looks great. Expect to find all your aberrant variants of creatures here and all those typical aberration DLC creatures spawning throughout, including plenty of rock drake nests to sink your teeth into. Well, maybe not teeth, but you'll sure be grabbing plenty of those on your travels and making a swift getaway. And although the biome looks pretty, the atmosphere is pretty brutal, and you will need full hazard suit protection to explore the deeper areas, unless you want to be chowing down on some radiation. Also, surprisingly, there is a large cave entrance that will lead you down into some sort of green zone area. It bears a lot of similarities to the fertile region at least, with a good mix of beginner-friendly creatures, and also some dangerous creatures too, of course. Expect to find aberration resources, charge stations, plant species Z, and all that good stuff throughout the biome. As far as I know, all the aberration creatures do seem present here. I haven't seen any nameless though, so I'm not really sure about them, but you can find Reaper Queens spawning here, which is always going to be a plus point. Surrounding the beaches and jungle area of the north lies a wasteland biome, rich with rare resources and typical dangers that you'll find in any other wasteland, including hordes of corrupted species. Scaling the west are more dense jungles similar to the redwoods biome, plentiful in redwoods trees, large lakes, waterfalls, high cliffs, and flat areas offering some great base spots. You'll find many fauna here that typically spawn in any other redwoods biome. Of course, it is rich with metal, crystal, and other valuable resources. Moving further down the west side of the map is the lava biome with elements of a wasteland from Extinction, featuring a harsh, desolate wasteland with all signs of life seemingly dead. You will, however, find that this area is a paradise for carnivores. They absolutely thrive in these harsh conditions, so it will be a go-to spot for taming your Rexes, Argies, Ceratosaurus, etc, etc. As it is also a wasteland, you can expect to find corrupted species roaming the area, attempting to kill off any remaining life in this region. Home to the red obelisk and fiery hot lava rivers running through, leading into a lava pit in the center. But do watch your step, you wouldn't want the dragon to shower you with that boiling hot lava. Moving further down south from here, you'll stumble across a huge fire wyvern trench. There was unfortunately a lack of fire wyverns spawn in here. I did spawn in a few for the video just so it looks good, but I do think I only found about 7 on my dino finder, so maybe the spawns for them need to be increased a little. I did find a few fertilized eggs though, located on many of the cliff shelves found throughout the higher parts of the trench. I really do love the look of this biome as a whole. It's probably my favorite biome on the map. Moving down to the south region, we have the Tropical Land, which is a fantasy-themed region, very pretty I must say. With a bit of exploration, you'll find some interesting signs of past civilization. It appears mankind here worshipped otters or something. I mean, if there was one creature I'd choose to worship, it would probably be the otter. More shrines also have a statue of a cat sipping up some of that sweet, sweet H2O. Also in this region is a giant cave system that runs pretty much under the entire region. There are numerous entrances in and out, and it is a great spot to visit for your resources, and most notably, it is also home to the poison wyvern, so a great place to net yourself a fertilized egg. Further to the southeast corner of the map is the desert biome, where you can expect to find all the typical flora and fauna that you'd find on the Scorched Earth map, minus deathworms. I didn't see any of them, but it seems everything else is present. All the resources, etc, etc. Speaking of course the biome is full of it, rich with all that tasty metal and everything else you need in abundance. We then finish up our map tour in the central region, which consists of some sort of extinction city, which is what it is. You'll find all the same technology guarding this one, the enforcers, the defense units, the scouts, you know how it goes. I must admit I'm not really a fan of this area. I do get that the modders are trying to include aspects from all DLC maps, but I always felt like Extinction Sanctuary and the assets only really fits the Extinction map. It just feels like it's a bit of a waste of space, so it just looks a bit repetitive, and it could be so much better. Don't get me wrong, some of it in the main part of the city looks sweet. I'm referring more to the surrounding areas where there's just random city buildings all over the place. And I say all this here, but I did quite like the version of the Extinction City on Architecto's other map for Rat. It just made so much more sense there due to it being on an isolated island. And I must say I also did not find any city terminals, so either they don't exist or they are very rare. Also in the center of the map lies the snow biome, and if you know me, you know I love a good snow biome. And well, this is probably one of my least favorites out of any of the maps I've checked out. It does include all the typical snow biome creatures, including DLC creatures like the snow owl, and also the managama. It just feels very empty and lacks exploration value. It's also very vertical, so pretty difficult to traverse, and pretty much all the tops of the cliffs lack points of interest, or rich resource nodes like metal and crystal. Plus it's also 20 degrees in the daytime, man. What's man gotta do to get some minus 10 degrees temperatures or colder in his life? I'm seeing snow, yet I'm out here catching a suntan. So yeah, I'm a little critical over the center of the map, and unfortunately my precious snow biome is one of them. Other than this, the map looks fantastic. This leads us on perfectly to extra map features. There are orbital supply drops on the map which will typically drop down around the wasteland areas, which are found scattered all over the map. There's usually a wasteland area in each respective biome. The same also goes for element veins, which are also available to us for easy element farming. There is currently no boss to summon from the obelisk terminals. However, the titans from Extinction can all be summoned and battled on Lost Protocol. And just like the Extinction map, each titan has their own cave system that leads down to the terminal. The Desert Titan is found in a small cave in the Scorched Earth region, a pathway that will take you across a lava pit, which also offers survivors a couple of high quality loot crates, leading you to the final room, which consists of loot, an artifact, and the terminal to summon the Desert Titan. The Forest Titan is also found in a small cave in the western jungle, holding 2 artifacts and the terminal. And finally, the Ice Titan cave is found in the heart of the snow biome. A large bridge can be found stretching across a lava lake from one side to the other, which is where the entrance is found. Moving down through these ice tunnels will see you facing high-level snow creature spawns and a few other nasty creatures, but you will be rewarded well for your efforts with a ton of loot crates, 2 artifacts, and the Ice Titan terminal, of course. All 3 titans have their own statue and ruins inside each cave, which I thought was a really nice touch. In addition to the Titan caves and artifacts, there are also a bunch of unique and interesting artifact caves that will test your survival skills, including a large cave system with parkour challenges throughout, littered with high quality loot crates. The artifact is actually before this section, so if you really hate parkour, then it is optional at the end of the day and you don't have to run it if you don't want to. But who doesn't want to grab a bunch of tasty loot crates, right? Shower me in those red loot crates. Numerous artifacts can also be obtained from this huge cave system. It's dark, mysterious, and of course, very dangerous, guarded by the deadliest of creatures. Once again, plentiful in loot crates that can be grabbed on your travels. So if you are having a hard time fighting your way through the adversaries, at least you'll be getting rich while doing so. Even I got lost navigating through this cave in GCM. It is great to see some more in-depth cave designs, and this map does have some banging caves. These days, it would be rude not to have a honey cave, right? This cave is found in the Redwoods biome in the west, home to plenty of accessible beehives, harvestable beehives, and also roaming giant queen bees to make taming a whole lot easier. And wherever there's honey to be had, there's a bunch of dire bears roaming nearby. They love honey just as much as we do. The cave also offers a loot crate or two, an artifact, and a load of organic polymer plants, so it's well worth a visit. Not an artifact cave here, but I did discover this small hidden temple, and to my surprise it did not lead me into an artifact cave full of creepy crawlies, but to a tribute room where the modder has names inscribed all over the walls, including a name that was very familiar to me. I do love little things like this. Big shout out to Architecture for sticking my name on the wall, by the way. It's honestly made my day seeing that. The map also adds its own creature variants. These are known as Prismatic and Event, and as far as I know they don't offer any bonuses as of now. I did read up that the event creatures are currently broken or something along those lines, so hopefully that will get fixed soon. And finally, let's talk about the mini-boss Guardian, which is the Guardian of the Snow. It can be found spawning naturally on the ice lake in the snow biome. It is basically a mutated version of the Megapithecus, sharing the same attacks and range attack, but will summon ghost basilisks to fight alongside it. The one I fought had 400,000 health, so I'm going to assume it will always spawn with the same amount of health. Unfortunately, the boss is relatively easy and seems to take a lot more damage than most bosses in the game. The only reward you get from beating it, as far as I know, is this mythical sword, which looks sweet, so if you're into your melee builds, then win-win for you. This sword deals fire damage over time to targets and seems to share the same debuff as the Pyromane. I'm going to be greedy and say I'd like the boss to be a lot more difficult, and also drop some loot and element as rewards in addition to the sword. Just a couple of bugs and glitches to bring up here in case the map devs are not aware. We have some lovely floating grass here in the Fire Wyvern Trench. There's quite a few spots on the map where lava is missing textures, most noticeable in one of the large artifact caves, where there is a large lava pool in the end room. This is also present in the Poison Wyvern cave that runs underneath the tropical beaches in the south. There is quite a lot of flickering terrain in the large aberration cave, aka the fertile region, which is pretty painful on the eyes. But other than that, there's not really too many issues to report, which only means good things. What I will say is the wyverns in general, especially the lightning and ice, need to have their spawns increased. I think I only found one lightning wyvern on my dino finder. Well, as always, I'm going to be honest here. Lost Protocol is a huge map and offers a lot of exploration value. There is a lot to like about the map, and I'd confidently say that this is Architecto's best work yet. Of course, some of the areas aren't to my liking, for example the snow biome and the extinction parts, but I think all maps will usually have a few negative points. At the end of the day, it's just my opinion. The rest of the map looks amazing though, and I can appreciate the hard work that has been put into it. And for me, it runs really smoothly. I did not even crash once while exploring and zooming around in GCM. I do have a good PC, of course, so I can't really vouch for it on console or low-spec PCs. The map is a steal at $5 and well worth the money. You'll easily get hundreds and hundreds of hours of enjoyment out of this map. So if that isn't worth $5, then I don't know what is. And that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it or found it helpful. And if you did, please don't forget to like, comment, share around, and subscribe for more. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care. Goodbye.